Once again, New York City. This is the official, original Gunslinger and Gangster video podcast. The official, original Gunslinger and Gangster of Southside Jamaica, Queens is Comrade George Branch. I am his surrogate daughter, Dr. Professor Imam Assata Mecca Muhammad. I represent 118th Avenue, Hands, 169th Street Bands. Sightful Deen Abdul Muhammad, who was a captain in Muhammad's Mosque 7C, represents 118th Road, Hands, 169th Street Bands. The topic is Gerald Prince Miller, who in the mid to late 70s moved into our community on 118th Avenue near Merrick Boulevard. Between Merrick Boulevard and what is known as Ring Place on the left and 170th Street on the right. Comrade George Branch has been incarcerated for 42 years. I am his media and public relations, social media, and public relations writer, consultant, and specialist pro bono. With regard to Gerald Prince Miller, peace, God. How you be, God? What's today's degree, God? Shakim Allah, my brother, who was murdered on the streets of Hampton, Virginia, instructed me not to speak to anyone in the Supreme Team. So let's start this out by qualifying my statements at that time in the mid-'80s. I said, well, why not? He said, do you know what they do to girls? I was like, oh, God, no. I must have been 22, about 85. We were living on 142 and the Rock. They run trains on girls or gang rape girls. I was like, oh my God. From then on, I started walking on the opposite side of Foch. I did not walk on Baisley Park Houses side of Foch. I said, what? He said, no, they raped them with bottles and objects. I was like, oh my God, rape? Like, this can't be true because I see Gerald Miller walking up and down 118th Avenue all the time. Like, it's no way he could be involved in anything like that. Like, therefore, I never spoke to anyone in the Supreme Team. We're going back to mid-'80s. Not until 2010, when Lisa Angel Ray, formerly of Nonstop Entertainment, introduced me to James Bimmy Anthony at the now defunct Manhattan Proper Cafe. I sponsored James Bimmy Anthony. This photograph you see right here was taken by a Children of the Most High God Youth Organization photographer back in 2011 when I was sponsoring James Bimmy Anthony when he had the Bowling with the Stars at Baldwin Bowling Lane. That was 15 years ago. But Gerald Prince Miller is not some former crime boss that we need to throw a parade for. He is a historical figure that we should do case studies. Those of us who have college degrees or who are self-educated, you should do case studies and write textbooks about Gerald Prince Miller. Because him being released from prison, according to my Muslim brother, Chairman Abdul Sadiq Al-Amin, is unprecedented. In closing, Sightful Deen Abdul Muhammad, a captain in the Nation of Islam, Muhammad's Mosque 7C, feels some kind of way, like Gerald Prince Miller, like you're treating him like he's a groupie. I mean, he said it in the podcast, I'm not a groupie. I conferred with him via telephone. Apparently, all of the calls are free now. I guess we have the legendary pioneer, Madam Dr. Kathy Hochul, to thank for that. I would say that until I do further research. I did start an audio podcast where I will be submitting audio letters to Kathy Hochul, the sitting governor of New York State. But it's so important that you understand in my conclusion that Comrade George Branch feels a kinship to Gerald Prince Miller. He told me that Gerald Prince Miller and Kenneth Prima Griff individually or collectively paid for a taxi for the Honorable Jeanette Branch to visit him in Clinton. From 118th Road, hands, 118th Road bands, they paid for a taxi. And I was like, wow, that's a grand gesture, as my brother Abdul Sadiq Alameen would say, formerly of Masjid Alhamdulillah on Sutphin Boulevard, 121st, South Side all day. So Gerald Prince Miller, allegedly, you'll be speaking at Green Haven Correctional Facility. You need to know that your OG and our OG, who is 68, feels some kind of way. No letter, no nothing, a card, a shout out, nothing. Thank you for calling me back when I paged you. And that's very important because when I texted you, correction, not paged, texted you, and the name George Branch was, you called me back. And I was like, that's a big deal. So, I'm speaking on behalf of my surrogate father, and I will write letters to you on behalf of my surrogate father. And we will make sure that we open Big Sisters back up, which is now closed on the corner of 118th Avenue and Merrick Boulevard. You have a standing invitation to come back to the community. We out here. Shout out from Brian Williams, who is the legendary pioneer Kid Nice. He speaks so highly of the Miller family coming out on 118th Avenue and getting involved in activities back in the day. He actually has won 2 Grammys, and we are so proud of him. And we are waiting for you to release a series of books and do audio books because we know you're going to win Grammys too. That's it. We out here. I am the youngest king from the legendary King family. We are the official original first family of Southside Jamaica house parties, going back to 1959 when my parents gave the most epic house parties. Then going to 1970 with freestyle dancing with my elder sisters, on up to battling behind Basie Park houses, what you call Basie projects. When you were out there as a historian, you were out there doing the damn thing with the rest of the folk. But I always tell my young people, they never told us what records to play. Like, you have to teach the history in a way where the young people can understand it. But it's so important that you speak to the women and to the sisters because women were greatly affected by what you did in your youth. And you can heal that with words. So, as the sole creator, sole founder, sole owner of the National Coalition of Black Girls and Black Women, we out here. I am the sole creator of the nation of babies, queens, and kings. Muhammad's Mosque for Fly Girls and B Girls in honor of the Honorable Queen Mother Dora Smith 3X Muhammad Shabazz. You never seen nothing like it before. Yes, that's the wife of Clarence 13X. She took him to Muhammad's Mosque number 7. Her mother and her were Muslims at Muhammad's Mosque number 7 when Clarence 13X, who many refer to as the father, was allegedly fighting in the Korean War. So, we out here. And we want any brother that's against women who verbally and physically abused women back in the 70s and 80s to stay the fuck out of grown women's business. Those brothers in Southside Jamaica who punched women in their stomach when they were carrying a baby, who destroyed their reproductive system, who pushed them downstairs when they were pregnant to get rid of the baby, who lied and told women, well, I can have 8 earths and 1 queen because I'm a god in the nation of gods and earths. We got to fix it for this generation. I'm out here doing it. Charlemagne the god, he can no longer use that name. I'm the legal and ethical representative for the estate of Dora 3X Smith, Muhammad Shabazz. All remedies recovered for any fraudulent use of Sightful, anything with regard to the nation of gods and earths, will be put in a trust fund for the estate of Debbie Smith, Christine Smith, a.k.a. Bootsy, Clarence, the eldest son of the great honorable Dora Smith Muhammad, and Perry, the estate. We're not playing no more. That's why we went to school. But we want the legendary pioneer, Honorable Gerald Prince Miller, to know that if you come back to the community, you have to do something. You should do community service for the rest of your life. Not skip around doing all of these speakings, and I see you on flyers with men, you're at the club, now you're going to the jail. What about the women that you affected and the girls who you affected, whose brothers were a part of Supreme Team, or who are no longer here, who passed away during that time? Perhaps New York State says you don't have to do restitution, but your people expect that from you. This has been the new official original video podcast for the official original Southside Jamaica Queens Gangster and Gunslinger, my surrogate father, Comrade George Branch, professionally known as Captain Sightful Deen Abdul Muhammad, the Chief Executive Subject Matter Expert, the Chief Executive Media and Public Relations Specialist, the Chief Executive Social Scientist, and the Chief Executive Officer for all New York State maximum security prisons for our Coalition for Incarcerated Black Boys and Black Men, for our Coalition for Incarcerated Black People, for our Coalition for Incarcerated Black Women and Black Girls. As always, in closing, we don't get fly, we stay fly. In 1977, they said it couldn't be done. They said that an 11-year-old girl, me, little MC Juicy E from 118th Avenue and 169th Street, couldn't rock the microphone behind Building 1 in Basie Park houses, but I did it and I never lost a battle. In 2025, I'm still rocking the mic. I'm still killing it with my own sound system, and we out here and I'll never lose a battle. And we out here representing for our people because we love our people. So to the honorable, legendary Gerald Prince Miller, I honor and respect you because you're black, but I love you because you are ours and you belong to us.